Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
All right, this is David Kogan with the Alliance Show. This one is the deep dive. Now, what does that mean? We're going to dive into things that really matter about business. Not the hype, no bull. This is the core stuff that matters most. And we've got Glue with LoopyDocs.com. She's also the producer for the Eliances radio show. And I've got Bruce Heide. You can reach him at bruce@strategicinsurance.com. And also the amazing Diana Costain. You can reach her at buythesun.ca, and all this information will be on the website, Eliances.com. Now that we got all that stuff out of the way, let's go right into it. Now, one of the things is that, we interview now hundreds, I think, Glue, right? Has it been now hundreds?
Close to 300.
300 CEOs, world leaders, and that, everything from the President of the United Nations to startups to everyone in between and that. And one thing that I really find in common is they all talk about mentors and that. But what I want to know from you guys, and let's talk about this specifically, is that there's people that are listening, and maybe they're at their top of their game, like you, Diana, and stuff. Top of your game, you've done a gazillion different things. It would take hours to just go over it all and stuff like that. Is it ever where you're too high up to not still have a mentor?
You always need to have a mentor, always, because motivation, optimism, thought process, you sit in a meeting. I sat in a meeting a couple days ago, and while I was sitting there, I thought, I got it. It happened to be one of your guests you're going to be interviewing very soon. In fact, later on today.
Fantastic. Now, what about, though, Bruce, what about like talking to, your girlfriend and bouncing on ideas off of her? Is it okay to have like a family member or somebody close to you, or should it be someone in a specific field?
I would say both. I really believe that somebody who is a family member can provide you with insight and be more honest in their response to what they're telling you. But I think it's also important to talk to other people outside of your business. And I heard a statement the other day, which may sound surprising, but the statement was, you can learn a lot from somebody who doesn't know anything about your business. And that doesn't mean to talk to somebody that's not intelligent, but talk to somebody who doesn't already have preconceived ideas about what you do and how you do it, because they may present something that's completely different than anything you've already thought of.
So totally like a fresh area and stuff of that. But how do you, Glue, I mean, with all the again, hundreds of CEOs and world leaders in that, how do you go about just even locating one and asking one?
Well, I typically like to have that happen organically. You never know where you can find a mentor. It could be somebody that you meet at Eliances, perhaps, that's just a wealth of knowledge that you could find there. When I started in Eliances, I always like to call it the joining together of the been there, done that's, and the getting there and doing it. And, we're all at different places in our journe's, and there's knowledge that we can impart to each other all the time. So, why I might be a mentor to someone else unknowingly, the other people can help me.
Well, now look at all the calls you're getting from everybody who'd like to do something with radio.
Exactly.
I mean, your Rolodex is off the hook. What if someone were to steal your phone? How much is your phone worth?
Apple tells me $7.99, but
right. But you know what? Listen to this, listeners. She's got direct phone numbers now for some of the guests we've had on, like Henrik Fisker, President of the United Nations, Big Lots TV. What about John Paul DeJoria?
Yeah, I have his agent's phone number.
Yeah, I mean, having all these direct phone numbers, boy.
I think I should now get a big insurance policy because you told everybody about my phone.
You should.
The Russian hackers are going to come after me.
Diana, who's on your favorite list? Who's somebody interesting on your favorite list?
What do you mean by favorite?
Your favorite on your phone. So when you click, how on the phone, who's up there?
Well, different times of life mean different things.
Okay.
I don't have little grandkids, so they are number one and number two. And then after that become all the business people. And I happen to also know a lot of business people, but I'm going to be secret about it and not tell you who they are.
So let's talk about with your grandkids and stuff of that. What should they really know about business? Because it's just so many different aspects. We hear so many different things. You're very successful in what you've done. You were part of the Shark Tank of Canada, Dragon's Den. You've probably own quarter of the office buildings that are in Arizona. You have done so much in that. What would you, if you had to start all over and you were your grandchild, what kind of things would you want to know right now to really start paving that journey?
Well, my grandchildren have a different vision of life because they had me to show them. And it was interesting because Bruce and I were sitting outside in the lobby and we talked about this. We talked about how that in our culture, basic white people culture, other cultures such as the Jewish culture, Chinese culture, Japanese culture, they all talk around the dining room table about money and how you make money. There are Canadian culture and Canadian American, most of us, we never mention. Very common if you meet a Chinese person, one of the first questions they're going to ask you is how much you pay for your house. Can you imagine? Like here, they kind of go, "Ooh, you don't really mention that."
Right.
So what I would go back to with what I would teach my children is I did do that all the time with my children. We talked about money. We talked about how to save money. We talked about how to grow money because it's not enough to say that you have to be growing it. And I taught them from a very early age, there's only 3 things you can do with money. You could loan it, you can spend it, and you can save it. And if you don't do those 3 things correctly, you got a problem.
Right, and we're talking again with Bruce Heide. You could reach him at bruce@strategicinsurance.com. Diana Costain, go to buythesun.ca. Of course, our incredible producer, Glue, because she makes things stick. You can go to loopydocs.com. We'll have all of that on our website at Eliances.com, Eliances.com. They're all part of the community. You may have the opportunity to meet them live in person. Just incredible knowledge that they have by going to our website, Eliances.com. We've got roundtables going on all the time. In fact, Bruce, you're part of Eliances and that. You come, you interact with so many. In fact, we call you Mr. Personality.
Yes.
And that.
Yes,
Tell
it's
us,
true.
share with us, there may be 1 or 2 listeners out of the hundreds of thousands that are listening now. They may not know about Eliances, so share with us some of that.
The Alliances is a group of entrepreneurs that have a lot of business experience that have come together to share and grow each other's business, to mentor each other, to provide connections to people outside of Alliances. I think the strength of what Alliances provides is the wealth of, as you said, the phone numbers on our phone. Who can I connect you with? We will discuss our problems. We'll help solve each other's business problems with on the spot mentoring sort of and giving suggestions and ideas and feedback. And I think it's really it's a support group. It's a way to help you have a collection of experienced professionals who have a great deal of experience. I mean, we've got ex-senators, ex-state senators. We've got people from international markets. We've got a wealth of different types of businesses that are represented. And you can use this almost as a mastermind type setting where you can get a private or do it in public at the meeting or sit on the side and get a response from somebody who says, I've been there, I've done that, I know what you're facing. Have you tried this idea? And it's almost like a consulting company on the side.
Right, absolutely. So much going on. Glue, why don't you comment in on that, and maybe perhaps how Eliances has changed your life?
Well, I'm a radio producer now, so that's actually the biggest thing that has happened in my 3 years being a part of the community. Started as a editor, and I'm still editing now, but it's really been a game changer for my business personally, professionally, everything. About 90% of my work comes through Eliances in some way, shape, or form, and that's phenomenal. I mean, what community can give that to you?
Now, I love the story that you just recently told me where you're in the kitchen cooking, your phone rings.
Yes.
And who's on the line?
Jeff Hoffman, co-founder of Priceline.com.
Now,
and I'm talking to him like he's an old buddy, and it's amazing.
And how many people could even say that? I mean, what's great about it, too, is that, again, the co-founder of Priceline, he flew in for the interview, and he's going to be coming to some of our events. So you may
Yeah.
have the opportunity to meet them in person. Go to Eliances.com, Eliances.com. But I mean, that just has to be just mind-blowing that somebody who's created so many things, Priceline being just one of them.
Yes, absolutely. And it's amazing because now I watch shows on TV and commonly point out to my boys. We were watching a show last night that had Dick Van Dyke on it, and I pointed at the guy and I said, "Hey, I'm going to meet him. We're going to interview him at Comic-Con."
That's right.
So-
Yep, we've got Comic-Con coming up. It's coming up at the end of the month, and we've got a contract with them. We'll be doing interviews. So make sure, again, you'll see those. Go to Eliances.com, Eliances.com. Diana, I want to make money now. I want to make money now. So there's people out there that are going, you know what, they may be very big, very successful. They may be starting up. They may be students, but they want to make money now. What's some of the legitimate, quickest way to start something that's going to maybe, there are people listening right now that already are working at a company day to day, 8 to 5. They sit in their cubicle and they wonder what it's like to be an entrepreneur. But what's maybe some suggestions of things maybe that could spark ideas to get them to start doing something else and making money?
That's a really interesting question, and I'm going to have to boil it down into some small sounds and some small words. Is the most important thing is follow your passion. Like, if you're going to do it every day, you might as well get up and be excited about it. And the second it isn't your passion, don't do it. So we are raised to do whatever it is that we think we should be doing, instead of going out and building snowboards. And people go, "Oh, that's a ridiculous idea." It's not a ridiculous idea. If you love it, you do it. You go after it. Being motivated, being inspired, that's really what's critical to be successful. And as you sit there in your cuticle and you're thinking to yourself, why am I here when I had this other dream? You think, oh, I couldn't do that dream. Well, like Henry Ford said, if a person tells them they can or they can't, they're probably right. So go do your dream. Follow it. Why not?
Because, in fact, with you, how many people told you throughout your career you can't do it? I mean, you were one of the first female brokers in BC, Canada.
When I was in high school, my guidance teacher, you had to go when they talked to you about your career. And I said to her, she asked me what I was going to be, and I said, a stockbroker. And she looked at me, and I could see the pity in her eyes. She said, girls aren't stockbrokers. She says, but if you worked really hard, I know that you could be the manager of a shoe department. And I looked at that, and I thought, wow, this is her reality, and I'm not buying it. I will never, ever let somebody else again rain on my dreams. No, you're not going to do that. So half of it is being strong enough, developing a Teflon outer skin that you can just say to them, I don't hear you. I will not let you in. Because you're dealing when they won't, what they're saying to you is they have a mediocre life and they're not going for the brass ring. So why not, my point is, why not go for the brass ring? At least then you failed at something you loved, and you never fail because you take all those lessons you learned while you were there and you turn around and you use those for the next deal.
Absolutely. And again, that's Diana Costain. You can reach her at bythesun.ca. And you're listening to me, David Kogan of Eliances. This is where entrepreneurs go. Make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. Be part of the community. Enough with sitting in the cubicle Monday through Friday wondering what else is out there. You got inventions, you got creative, you got things going on. You need to check out the community. You need the jolt. It's Eliances.com, Eliances.com. Now, Bruce, I got to tell you, when you come to Eliances, and I've seen you at our deal hours and that, I think you are one of the most comfortable people that is comfortable in their skin. And going to new events and meeting new people and that, 99% of people are not comfortable with it. I mean, they're just not. It's going up to somebody. But you are Mr. Personality. You're comfortable with it, but you make people comfortable. So not only you comfortable, but the people you talk to. How do you do that?
Well, David, I start my day with the goal and the ambition of making one person smile. And then they're smiling, I'm smiling. Then you're comfortable talking with them. You're relaxing them. You're making the guard come down, and making them feel like you're interested in them and feeling good. And when you've got somebody feeling good, it's a pleasant conversation. And I think you just have to, it's a skill. You have to get comfortable, not on a big stage initially, but if it's something that's new to you, start with a conversation about something that you enjoy. Start with something that you feel comfortable and confident about, and then expand on it.
But what's like an opening line?
Opening line. Well,
almost like a date, right? It's almost like opening line.
Yes. Okay. Tell me about if you're trying to initiate a conversation. Tell me about your situation. What went right today? What did you do today that really made you feel good?
Excellent. And you could reach Bruce by going to Bruce@strategicinsurance.com. Now, Bruce, I know you told me not to mention this on the air, but you know what? You're on the air now live, so too late in that. Tell me about your escapade when you go to the grocery store and what happens. This is just a grocery store, people.
Well, I end up going to the grocery store to get one or two items, and I see all kinds of crazy stuff, and I start to create ways to use these items, and I end up leaving the grocery store 2 hours later. I get back to the house, and my fiance says, "Where have you been? You went to the store to get milk or cream, and you came back with 20 items, and you don't have the cream." And I'm like, all right, I'll go back and get some more. But you know what? I have fun at the grocery store. I interact with the people there that are clients, or that are the customers at the store, as well as the employees. I've got one store, they say, "Will you come back and entertain our clients?"
You know what?
more?"
I was just going to say that. If I owned a retail store, grocery store, or something, I would just hire you just to go up and down the aisles. Because you know what? By the time people came out of there, they'd have 2 shopping carts full. In fact, Lou, you know, with so much going on, what do you think of Diana and with Bruce and stuff? I mean, you know them well.
I think they're phenomenal, of course. I can't wait until we can do that lunch for real.
Oh, yes.
David, I do have to tell you that there was one time I did make a mistake. I took a life-size plastic skeleton into the Panera Bread store, and when some of the customers went by and started looking at the skeleton sitting next to me on the booth, they were a little nervous about ordering food from the store.
I bet. I'm sorry, I probably would have thrown you out. You should have brought something else in, or at least had clothes on the skeleton. But there's so much, again, and what we're doing here is this is our deep dive show at Eliances, because there really is a lot of activity going on. And we do this show to help the community. We want people to explore and to see what Eliances is about. It's not a sales pitch. We're not trying to sell anything. This is really where entrepreneurs align. We're making a difference in the community. You may have the chance to meet such as Glue from LoopyDocs.com, Bruce from StrategicInsurance.com, Diana Costain from BuyTheSun.ca, along with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other people that are motivated, that are driven, that are from various levels. Imagine if you're in a room and you're surrounded by people that have maybe sold their business 70, 80 million, 98 million on up, or they're sleeping in their car starting their startup. And you bring them all together, and I kind of call it the blender, right? The blender effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you blend food together, you can't specifically just taste one, but it all tastes good together going down.
Beautiful.
And that's it with Eliances. It's been an incredible pleasure to be surrounded by the 3 of you amazing people.
We thank you for it.
Thank you very much, David Kogan with Eliances. And make sure you go to Eliances.com, ELIANCES.com.
You have been listening to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. Eliances is the destination for entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, inventors, leaders, celebrities, and startups. To present your superpower, visit www.eliances.com.